You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, changes are coming to the Leggett and Platt Athletic Center in Joplin. Our very own Lonnie Walton shares what's in store.
Also, the city of Joplin fields questions regarding the relaunch of one of its transportation services.
And we've still got some snow across the area. On top of that, we still have dangerous road conditions out there. We're going to have a look at those road conditions and the forecast to get you out the door coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. It's just after 7 a.m. on this finally Friday, January the 10th. And we've got snow out there. We've got dangerous road conditions. We've seen some near misses in terms of accidents so far on the cameras.
Way too fast.
Yeah, people are. We're going to go over all of that here in just a moment. In the meantime, though, before the snow arrived yesterday, some things happening at Missouri Southern.
Yes, Missouri Southern Board of Governors has greenlit a significant investment in the future of the university's sports and events facilities.
They've approved $2.1 million in university funds for a comprehensive overhaul of the Leggett and Platt Athletic Center. KOAM's Lonnie Walton has more.
We're excited about it.
Brian Shedding has been a coach at Missouri Southern for 16 years. And of course, he, along with his students and fellow co-workers, will leave several memories.
And certainly we have a lot of memories of this place. And, I think a lot of our alumni have a strong bond to, the big track meets we used to host or the big basketball games or championships won in this building.
Big Championships is right for this 25-year-old building, hosting over 600 banquets, commencement ceremonies, career fairs, and sports. It has even been a refuge for the 2011 Joplin tornado victims. But according to Shedding, not much has changed.
Realistically, it's a worn building. Right? It's 25 years old. These are the original surfaces.
Athletic Director Rob Mowry, along with Shedding, says it's time for a change.
Again, at 25 years old, it was just time. It's time for the building to get those updates, and I'm hopeful that maybe we can modernize and brighten the facility a little bit.
It's at the point where, the maintenance needs to be done.
Phase 1 will consist of new bleachers, an indoor track, and a basketball court. Leaders hope this gym will continue to serve the community for the next 25 years.
Nice surface, safe surface for our kids to train on. It'll be, back to what it was when they built Leggett and Platt.
Reporting in Joplin, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
Phase 1 of renovations starts this summer, and the renovations will also have a phase 2, which include a sound system, updated restrooms, and a video scoreboard.
A lot of work to be done out there at the Leggett and Platt Center. It's a great center. It's a large facility. It's done a lot for the community. My high school graduation was there. As I mentioned, it served as a shelter in place for folks after the tornado. So it's great to see them putting some money into sprucing it up a bit.
Absolutely, great to see.
And something else that needs to be spruced up are the road conditions. Now, road crews are out there. They are doing their jobs. It is difficult, though, when everyone is on the road, and especially those folks who don't need to be. And we've got closings going on. We've got 100,000 different reasons, I think, for you not to be on the roads. But if you have to, here's what you're facing. We're going to start in downtown Joplin with our camera on the Cornell complex. It's pointed down at 7th and Joplin. And the roads still haven't improved a lot. Like I said, we've watched the road crews. They're out there. They're working hard. But there are a lot of things they've got to take care of. Now, we have seen folks driving too fast here on 7th Street for the road conditions. We have seen 3 near rear-end accidents up here at 7th and Main where folks are stopping to turn left because you're almost dealing with just 2-lane traffic in some cases. They're slowing down or stopping to turn left, and folks are following too close behind. They're going too fast. They've almost rear-ended. And then there was a guy who was legitimately driving safely. Made a left turn here, and when he hit this slushy stuff, his vehicle stopped turning, and he went straight up onto the sidewalk. And that's just here in 2 intersections. You got to stay home if you don't have to be out. If you do have to be out, you have got to go slow. Okay? I planned my day. I woke up at 1:45 this morning, and it took almost an hour and a half to get from there to here. So you need to plan your day or just stay home until the road crews can get their thing done. MoDOT cameras around the area. This is 43 looking south. Traffic here, and this is the weird thing, is in town, people have been moving too fast. On the highways, thankfully, people slowing down for the most part. We still have slush out there, and that slush is enough. You hit the wrong spot, it's almost like hydroplaning. You're going to end up losing control. I-44 and 249, again, still looking down here. We are looking back, I believe, to the west along 44, and same here, 44 and Main Street. You got Mercy Hospital up here, looking better, but we've still got a ways to go. Same on the KDOT camera, south of Pitt. We're seeing a little more of the road, but not that much. It's looking better, but it's not at 100%. You have got to slow down. You've got to be careful. KDOT, in terms of road conditions, again, there's a little glitch. We've got some showing up as clear. They're not. We've got covered roadways across the entire southeast Kansas region, with the exception of Garnett, where we are seeing partially clear or partly covered roadways. On the Missouri side, same situation. I-44 from the state line to St. Louis is covered. I-49 from Arkansas up north to KC is covered, and so is everything in between. There have been no changes all morning on this. Crews are doing the best, but there's a lot of snow out there. And I know for some folks, Elise, for example, she's from up north. This isn't that much snow, but here in our area, this is a lot of snow. We're not equipped to handle a lot of snow down here, and we've still got more going on. Skywatch Storm Tracker, there it is. This little band was kind of thinning out, but you can see we're getting some redevelopment of snow out there, so we're not quite done with it yet. Eventually, as we head through the late morning and early afternoon, we're going to reach that point where we're mostly cloudy, a few stray flurries, maybe a snow shower or two, but otherwise the accumulating snow is done. Quick look at temperatures. No major winds this morning, but the winds will be picking up, gusting out of the north up to 20 later today. We're into the upper 20s and some low 30s this morning. Our highs are headed for the low to mid 30s. Snow wrapping up this morning, and again, a few stray flurries or snow showers will be possible out there, but the accumulating snow should be done here before too much longer. We're going to have another update on road conditions and talk about some warmer weather. It's down the horizon here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. The Carthage Humane Society informed the city of Carthage this week that it is terminating its contract with the city. Now, this cuts off city funding to the shelter and means the city can't surrender animals to the Humane Society without paying a $200 fee per animal. Now, this comes after months-long discussions regarding funding concerns and the number of animals being turned into the shelter. According to the Humane Society, in 2024, the city of Carthage paid the society roughly $49,000, while their operating cost exceeded $570,000.
The majority of our funding comes from the public. It comes from donations. And if the city's not bringing us over 30 animals a month, then our expenses won't be as high.
The mayor of Carthage says the termination was unexpected and that there has been recent discussions about increasing funding. For now, the mayor says the city has not been picking up as many lost or stray animals as they discuss future options. And the city of Joplin held a meeting to answer questions from residents about the relaunch of the Sunshine Lamp Trolley. The service was originally halted in 2022 due to a lack of bus drivers. The city has now hired new drivers. The new buses are smaller and will seat 12 to 14 people. The buses will make the same stops as before and will run from 6 a.m. until 6 p.m. And those are our top news stories this half hour. Coming up next, we'll have some safety tips to keep in mind during wildfire season. And later, a police officer patrols a city to help others battle the cold. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Topping Nation Watch this morning. The highest court in the land will decide the fate of TikTok. The Supreme Court agreed to expedite the video sharing platform's First Amendment case. Now, arguments set to start today and are expected to last more than 2 hours. The ban enjoyed bipartisan support on national security fears surrounding the app's Chinese ownership. The app is currently facing a deadline of January 19th before the law kicks in. Actor Alec Baldwin files a lawsuit against New Mexico prosecutors involved in the fatal Rust set shooting case. Baldwin filed a civil lawsuit yesterday against the prosecutor and sheriff's office for malicious prosecution and civil rights violations. The judge involved in the initial case dismissed Baldwin's charge of involuntary manslaughter back in July. Baldwin is also alleging defamation, saying that prosecutors and investigators purposefully mishandled evidence while trying the case. Well, heartache across Southern California as thousands of structures burn and thousands more remain threatened by raging wildfires. But amidst the devastation, doctors are warning of severe health risks. Fox News' Ted Linder takes a closer look at the looming dangers.
Several monstrous wildfires continue decimating the Los Angeles area, demolishing thousands of structures across the densely urban landscape, triggering health risks. The infernos are generating high amounts of smoke. It's casting a thick haze and sending people running to buy air filters and don face masks.
I've woken up with burning eyes and a sore throat, coughing.
Doctors are urging caution.
Wildfire smoke contains very fine particulate matter. This is called particulate matter 2.5.
This matter can include gases like carbon monoxide, but it can also contain a slew of other toxins. That's because the fires are burning a lot of items not found in nature, like cars, furniture, and appliances.
Inhaling these very small particles can cause significant irritation to the lungs. They certainly can enter the bloodstream, wherein we sometimes see non-respiratory effects like cardiovascular effects of smoke exposure.
This comes as civil engineers say wildfires like these can damage water systems, causing depressurization that can prevent water from coming out of the faucet.
When that happens, the water systems are then vulnerable to chemical contamination, where chemicals can find their way into the buried pipes and be transported to other properties in the area when they start repressurizing the system.
Meanwhile, local medical experts are warning people who use medications and inhalers to make sure they have ample supplies, citing how they may now need to use them more frequently. Ted Linder, Fox News.
Now let's head over to Chris with a quick look at the forecast.
Yeah, we've still got a number of covered roadways across the area, slick spots everywhere, so if you don't have to travel today, don't. We'll have another look at those road conditions and your forecast when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. Coming up now at 7:17 on this Friday morning, and we do have, of course, the snow. There's still some snow continuing to fall, but the bulk of it still should be wrapping up in the next hour or so. Taking a look, our camera downtown Joplin on the Cornell complex. Look down here, especially on the Joplin Avenue itself, still some slick spots. See, you gotta be careful out here this morning. All right, we have seen some near-miss accidents. We saw a person making a left turn that went up onto the curb. And see the sliding, the fishtailing? It doesn't look like there's a lot on the road, but it is enough that it is slick and it could potentially be dangerous. So if you don't have to be out this morning, simply do not be. Okay, if you do, if you're like us, you're first responders maybe, you've got, there's something you just have to be out. Make sure you're doing so slow and responsibly, and watch out for those road crews that are trying to clear things off. Highway 43, looking south from I-44, it's looking better still, and that's the thing, is we are seeing improvements. It's just going to take some time. This is I-44 from Rangeline looking back east, so this is coming off of Rangeline from northbound traffic. We can see the roads, but you can still see slushes out there. And that's going to be the thing, is the slush is going to be very slick as well, causing folks to fishtail like we just saw moments ago on 7th and Joplin in downtown. All right, Main Street down here, still a little covered. Still some up here on the bridges. And that's the other thing, bridges, overpasses, on-ramps, they're going to be a little slower to get cleared as well. MoDOT camera 20th in Rangeline in Joplin. Westbound side, again, still looking like there's still a fair amount of snow out there. Road crews, we've seen them. They're out here, they're doing their best, but it's difficult when everyone's out, especially if you don't need to be out this morning. It just makes it harder for them to get through and do what it is that they need to do. But you've really got to slow down. You got to be careful, because we've seen too many people going too fast this morning for these kinds of road conditions. 32nd in Rangeline, slight improvements again, but you can still see, especially into the right turn island and coming westbound here, We still got snow out there. We still got that slush. And the KDOT camera 69 East 520th Avenue. Again, improvements. We're seeing a little more of the highway here. Thankfully, we're seeing folks like this car coming down going pretty darn slow. And that's the smart thing to do, is if you have to be out, you've got to go slow like these folks are. They're being good. They're doing the right thing, because it's hard to tell where the road is in some cases, or where you are in relation to the road. Again, the improvements will continue, which will make it easier, but right now it's still somewhat difficult. All right, on to the road conditions. Again, the KDOT map, just a small glitch, is showing some clear roads out there. They are covered, not closed, thankfully, but they're covered. The only improvements that we've still got out here that are showing up are around Garnett, where we have some partially covered roadways. Otherwise, they are all listed as covered. We go to the Missouri side. I-49 from Arkansas up to Kansas City is covered. I-44 from the Oklahoma state line to St. Louis is covered, and so is every other highway in between. So again, it just goes back to, if the highways are like this, you know, city streets are going to take a while to clear. Side streets, rural roads, back roads, those are going to be last on the list of things to get done. And that's why, again, if you can just avoid going out today, or maybe wait until this afternoon when it warms up a bit and they've had time to do their jobs, that's the best thing to do. If you don't need to be out this morning, don't. Snow still rolling in across the area. We saw some of it kind of clearing out a bit. We were getting some light flurries, and now it's kind of thickening back up. Snow getting a little heavier on this band. This is the last band, though. Once it moves on through, we're going to have mostly cloudy skies back behind it, and then really the only thing we're going to have to deal with is gusty north winds, which those are already starting to pick up out there, and maybe a few light flurries here or there. Saturday, the winds will shift out of the south overnight tonight. They'll be gusting tomorrow, but will be a little warmer as we're going into the upper 30s, maybe even some low 40s by Saturday afternoon. And then same situation on Sunday, but an opportunity for some flurries. So again, today, low to mid 30s for those highs, gusty north winds, snow eventually ending. We'll have gradual clearing tomorrow, upper 30s, low 40s, south winds gusting upwards of 20 to 25. Upper 30s again Sunday, maybe a few flurries. A little colder on Monday. Still below normal, but not bad Tuesday, Wednesday. Then we're looking at Thursday and Friday jumping into the 50s. And then we've got another system next weekend that we're still several days away from, but it looks to bring us some rain and possibly some wintry mix precipitation as we head into next weekend. That's a check of your forecast. We're back with more right after this. In Hartford, Connecticut, a police officer has a different mission in mind.
Hector Molina shares more on the life-saving patrol.
How you doing? How you guys doing? How you doing? I got stuff for you.
In the city of Hartford, the homeless population feels at home when they see Officer Jim Barrett.
So how'd you feel seeing Officer Barrett tonight?
Oh my God.
He's not only considered a friend, but a lifeline. He's Hartford's homeless outreach officer. And tonight, he's not just trying to keep the homeless warm.
And my goal is to keep them alive.
During the cold winter months, Officer Barrett drives around Hartford looking to help the homeless get into warming shelters, from encampments to everyday hangouts.
Bus stop, park benches, a lot of them are like huddled in a fetal position in front of churches.
But like many cities, Hartford doesn't have enough beds for every homeless person. So he brings food, gloves, hats, and coats to as many as possible.
Try to get them the key necessities to stay, to keep them warm and keep them safe.
And tonight, we not only saw the deliveries, we were also part of them.
You give the whole thing.
The whole thing? Okay.
Yeah, give the whole thing.
A backpack full of items that will help Felix Hernandez survive.
We feel very happy. Yeah, and we appreciate it 100%.
A step toward getting out of the cold and on to a better life. Officer Barrett says he keeps in touch with many of the homeless people he meets. He helps them get back in school, find jobs, and find homes.
When these guys come back and say, hey, you saved my life, because of you, I got my apartment. Because of you, I got my college degree, my 4-year bachelor's degree. They come back, show me the keys to their apartment, give me a hug, and you can't put a price tag on that.
Certainly an impressive mission, doing a lot of good out there.
Yeah, great to see, changing the lives of so many,
yeah.
Helping them. Great to see. Well, coming up, the Joplin School Board has given its approval to move ahead on its first phase of projects.
And as we've been talking this morning, we still have snow across the area. The bigger concern at this point is dangerous road conditions. We'll have a look at the road conditions and our forecast for today when we come back.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:29. I'm Elise Snowy. The Joplin School Board of Education announces its approval for the first phase of upcoming projects. Now, these projects are geared towards everything from addressing educational suitability, intensive programs, and early childhood expansion. Phase 1 funding to focus on these projects would total $9.5 million to be funded by capital outlay reserves. The committee plans to present their final longer-term recommendations to the board in June 2025. A house fire claims the life of a Pittsburgh resident. Fire crews responded to the fire on West 21st Street shortly after 6 yesterday morning. Now they got there and confirmed with police that 2 people were involved. EMS took 1 person to Mercy Hospital. The other resident died at the scene. Officials are not releasing the name until they contact next of kin. Let's head over to Chris with a quick look at the forecast.
We've been continuing to monitor road conditions across the area. In fact, we've got another band of snow coming through, so we've actually seen the snow pick up once again here in Joplin. Now take a look. I want to tell you, the number of near-miss crashes and slides that we have seen just between Main Street and Joplin is pretty high this morning, and people are continuing to drive a little too fast down here, and we have more snow pushing through before the bulk of this is done. So if you're traveling this morning, if you have to be out for some reason, you've got to slow down, leave space between you and the car ahead of you, take the turns easy, because see, take a look at that snow. It's picking right back up again, and these roads are not 100% clear. What do you think this snow is going to do? It's going to start to stick to some of that slush out there. MoDOT cameras around the metro area. This is Highway 43 from I-44 looking south. Again, we're seeing improvements. The road crews are doing the best that they can, but there's a lot of roads to cover, and there's a lot of snow out there, at least a lot of snow for this area. I-44 from Range Line looking east. Again, there are slick spots that are going to be all over the place, especially bridges, overpasses, and the on-ramps. And then let me back up to this side. This is at Main Street. This is I-44 looking east. There's Mercy. Here's Main down below. Again, improvements, but still not 100% clear. And the same in Kansas. The KDOT camera 69 East 520th Avenue, just south of Pittsburgh. Improvements, but still not 100%. And these folks are doing the right thing. There's 3 of them now coming down the road here. And look at how they're driving slowly. You've got to slow down. You got to take it easy. If you don't have to be out, don't be out. All right, again, a glitch with this map showing some clear roads out there. That is not the case. We're looking at covered just about everywhere except around Garnett, where we do have some partly covered roadways out there. As we switch to the Missouri side, it is a very similar story on the Missouri side as well. I-44, for those of you who maybe are commuting or need to commute for some reason, it is covered from the state line to St. Louis. I-49 is covered from Arkansas up to Kansas City, and every highway in between still listed as covered. There have been no major changes on either of these maps all morning long. So here's that snow. Again, it's thickening back up again, and we're getting some moderate snowfall in Joplin right now. Its line stretches all the way back into southeast Kansas and will continue to rotate on off to the east, and eventually the bulk of the accumulating snowfall will be gone, and we'll be left with mostly cloudy skies by late morning into the afternoon with a few light snow showers, maybe a few flurries out there. Nothing significant, but don't be surprised if you see a few flakes flying. Otherwise, it's mostly cloudy. It's breezy. North winds gusting up to 20. 26 in Joplin right now. 27 in Pittsburgh, and across the area, temperatures aren't bad. Like I said, they're better than where we have been. I mean, our high temperatures the last several days have struggled to even reach these levels here. We're into the upper 20s, low 30s, and we are starting to feel a little bit of a nip to the air as the winds start gusting out there. We'll have that snow again continuing, maybe a stray flurry or two into the afternoon. Highs today, low to mid 30s. Winds are going to be gusting out of the south tomorrow, might even be a little bit warmer. We'll take a look full at your forecast and have an update on road conditions here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. And you can get the latest road conditions and power outages across the area anytime through this QR code. It'll direct you to links on our website, KOAMNewsNow.com, for that information for each of the 4 states in our viewing area. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Shannon Becker is with us with his Big 3 stories of the week. Welcome back. We've got Shannon Becker in the studio with his Big 3 news stories of the week. Good morning, Shannon. Did you get here safely?
Slip sliding away.
That's exactly it.
It's kind of like that.
That's exactly it.
If people have to be out, of course, take your time. You got to think about the sidewalks and driveways. That's probably the most dangerous part of everybody's day.
Yes, absolutely.
So let's take a look at the Big 3 stories. What's happening where you live, our big stories of the week. Well, at Main Street, the exit 6. There's a barrier there on the westbound lanes. It's been a problem. There have been 2 serious crashes there in the past couple of weeks. So that was one of them that happened just this last week. Here's another one where a tractor trailer had crashed into that median barrier. So day before yesterday, traffic was slowed as MoDOT installed, they're called like lane delineators is what they are. They're kind of, they can collapse if somebody actually hits them, but they extend out pretty far. So if you can see here, I took the video, and you can see there's a lot more warning. Whereas before it was just the yellow, and now you've got all those delineators there. Yes.
Much safer.
So hopefully that will alleviate what's happening. They have paused the construction on that project till the spring, they said. Unknown reason. Our number 2 story, KOAM News Now, live and breaking news. You talked about it this week. We were there live. A house fire. The roof collapsed. Very cold that morning. It was about 12 degrees, 21st and Wall. The home was unoccupied. It's a residence under remodel, Joplin Fire Department. Our number 1 story, Joplin News First, was this last weekend. The big story, you got family and friends in Kansas City.
Yes, I do.
Oh my goodness, was that not insane?
Unbelievable.
Well, that's the Grandview Triangle. This is some video
so scary.
near the Grandview Triangle, and that tractor trailer, he just, was working it as much as he could. And then I had somebody else send me this video. This one is really bizarre. It is a tanker. This person's taking the video as they're hanging out their window, and it's behind them. A tanker carrying hazardous material.
Right behind you, slipping and sliding.
Oh my gosh. Well,
they got it really bad.
It was, and it was ice. Now we have snow.
Right.
All right, and our bonus story of the week, it kind of relates to today. If you see a vehicle wrapped in yellow tape, that means it's already been checked on by authorities or first responders and stuff. Nobody's in the vehicle. There's so many wreckers can't even get to them right now, so they're just kind of sitting there wrapped next to the road. This is on Missouri 171 last night. I was up till about 3. This pickup truck is actually off the road south of 96 Highway on Missouri 171, so near Carl Junction. Don't call it in. It happened around 8 o'clock last night. Nobody was injured, but they'll leave it until the weather's a little bit better where they can get it out. As I sat there and did my little story, they called 911 3 times. Different people did.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, oh.
Yeah. You see the yellow tape then.
You see the yellow tape, don't call 911. Be careful out there.
Absolutely.
All right?
Yes, please. Well, Shannon, thank you so much. It's always happy to see you. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 741 now. Let's take a look. First, downtown Joplin, our camera on the Cornell Complex. The snow picking right back up out there, okay? We're not expecting several more inches or anything quite like that, but this snow could still stick to the untreated roads, even the roads that have been treated, because we're still, most of us, below freezing out there. I've been watching traffic this morning. I'm hoping that I'm not watching folks that were watching us, 20 minutes ago now out here on the road. I hope that the folks, those of you at home listening, if you're heading out today, you are listening very carefully. There are folks who are going way too fast for these road conditions. We have seen several near-miss accidents just in this little stretch of road here. We're talking a block, okay? Just one block. You've got to slow down. You got to be safe. You got to be careful, and don't go out unless you have to, especially considering that it's snowing again for a little bit. I'm going to take a look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker and talk about that snow. MoDOT cameras. This is Highway 43 south, heading towards Seneca from I-44. It, again, looks better. Still not 100%. Road crews are doing everything that they can. My hat is off to them. They've been out, I am sure, since who knows when yesterday. I-44 from Range Line heading east. Again, some improvements, but look at the road conditions. There are still going to be slick spots. Here's Main Street. Here's I-44, looking east again because there's Mercy. Still looks better, but it's not 100%. And I-44 from 249, look at the on-ramp. Okay, that's going to be the other thing. The exit ramps and on-ramps are not going to be 100% clear yet either. MoDOT camera 20th in range line. Some of the clearing that had taken place, we're getting just enough of this snowfall that it's kind of covering it back up again. And there's only so many plow trucks and so many road crews out there that can do things before, they have to move on and then they have to come back. So you've got to slow down. Look at the westbound lanes too. Still dealing with a lot of slush. Still the same thing. MoDOT camera 32nd range line. In fact, in daylight now, you can see how much slush there really is. It's still on the road, and that's still enough to cause you to slip and slide. Over to Kansas. Been watching folks driving slowly, driving responsibly down 69. Again, it's slight improvements, but not significant. Crews are going to be working on it. They're going to be working on it for a while. You just got to, if you don't have to be out really, like we said, stay home. Let the crews get out there, do their thing. It'll be a little warmer later today, and that will certainly help with some of the clearing. But right now, there's more snow coming. There's more snow happening right now. It's going to slow the process down. Again, small glitch with this map. The showing clear. It's not actually clear. We have covered roadways everywhere still in southeast Kansas. Partially covered, listed around the Garnett area. We go over to Missouri, and this is the same story on the Missouri side. And again, a little glitch here too, and I've noticed this comes up a lot, that this stretch of I-49, at least on our map, shows up as clear all the time when it most certainly is not. But that said, I-44, I-49, both of them covered. I-44 from Oklahoma to St. Louis, I-49 from Arkansas to Kansas City. It's the two main interstates there. Every highway in between is covered, and if the highways are covered, you know that the city streets are still going to be bad. You know that your neighborhood streets absolutely are not going to be in great shape, and I'm sure that your driveway isn't in fantastic shape right now either. So a lot of reasons just to stay home. Snow, it cuts off sharply now, back through southeast Kansas, stretching into Oklahoma, but we've seen it kind of ramp back up ahead of this line out here, and that's why we're seeing additional snow. You can see where it starts to kind of clear out on radar. Remember, snow, radar, they don't always get along, but you can see where snow thickened back up here over the southwest Missouri. All of this, though, continues to roll out. As it does so, we'll be left with gusty north winds and mostly cloudy skies, which with the clouds and the moisture and everything, the cool temperatures, a few snow showers, a couple of stray flurries will be possible, but no more accumulating snow as we head into the afternoon. Winds shift out of the south later this evening, and overnight they'll be gusting out of the south tomorrow. We'll start off mostly cloudy, but skies clearing as we head into the afternoon. Let's take a look at what we are expecting out there. We're going low to mid 30s today. Getting the snow will start to come to an end, or at least the bulk of the snow will. Tomorrow, upper 30s, maybe even some low 40s. Same on Sunday, except we could see a few flurries out there. A little colder on Monday. Not bad. Still chilly, still below normal. Then we're talking above normal Thursday and Friday. On Friday, it's still several days away, but it's another system we're keeping an eye on. It's got some additional rain and maybe a little bit of wintry mix for us as we head into next weekend. Let's check your forecast. We're going to send it over to Elise now with Consumer Watch.
All right, thanks, Chris. Winter weather is driving up heating bills throughout most of the country. Heating costs are projected to jump 8.7% this season from the previous year for an average cost of $941. The report says homes heated by electricity will see the biggest increase this season, with bills expected to jump 14.2% for an average total of $1,189. One major American department store named 66 stores that it plans to close before the end of 2025. Macy's previously announced back in February that its plans to shut down 150 underperforming stores by the end of 2026. The retail chain says it plans to still invest in its 350 current locations through the 2026 fiscal year. The company has not given exact dates on when these stores will be closing their doors. And that's it for Consumer Watch. Let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell.
See, that's what we're talking about. Sorry, we've been watching the cameras around the area. Folks, you've got to slow down. You got to be smart. You got to be responsible. Okay, we're watching too many people getting this close to crashes. Don't be out if you don't have to be. But Switching over to something happened in New York that's not snow related.
No, not at all. 2 8th graders in New York are being hailed as heroes after their quick thinking helped a woman who was hurt near their school.
As Ellie McLogan reports, the students are bringing pride to their Belrose community and setting an example of kindness.
8th grade classmates and lifelong friends Colin Wynn and Christian Fiorillo walk home together every day after school. But one of their walks wasn't like the rest.
We usually stop by the deli, so we stopped by the deli, and as we were coming back around, there was a woman, and she was walking in front of us. And then she tripped and she was bleeding really bad.
Seeing her lying helpless with broken bones, the boys leapt into action.
I was trying to think of the right thing to do and how to stop the bleeding from her nose.
They dialed an ambulance and grabbed napkins from the deli to staunch the bleeding. As she was rushed to safety, she noticed their uniforms for St. Gregory the Great Catholic Academy.
When I first got the email, I was really excited.
School principal Joseph Panicha says he got an email of gratitude from the woman who fell, Janet Miranda, who was recovering. He decided to organize a ceremony in the students' honor, along with Assemblymember David Weprin.
We gave them an official assembly citation for special recognition, which they certainly deserve. They are really, in my opinion, real heroes.
In the front row, Ms. Miranda herself.
These 2 boys come up behind me, and they just took over. Clearly their families brought up 2 wonderful kids. I mean, the kindness was just amazing.
A reminder of how strong we can be when we look out for each other.
All I know is I need to pay it forward.
The special ceremony deeply touched the students, who said they reacted spontaneously and weren't looking for praise. How does it feel to be called a hero?
It feels nice, but I don't think we really need any titles. I think it's just good knowing what we did was right and that we could help somebody.
Very impressive indeed what
Yes.
they were doing there.
So great to see and glad everyone's okay.
Yes, absolutely. Unfortunately, if folks aren't careful, they're not going to be okay in our area. Let's look outside real quick. We're going to start downtown Joplin, our camera on the Cornell complex. We're watching just one block here. Look at the snow, by the way. It's picked back up again. It'll eventually stop, but still, we've been watching just this one block, and I don't know how many people sliding, turning, and almost rear-ending folks that are stopping. You got to slow down. You got to be careful, and if you don't have to be out this morning, I can't say it enough. Watching these cameras and watching how folks have been driving, don't go out. Let the crews clear them, okay? There's obviously still a lot of work that's got to be done, and I don't want to see an accident on these cameras, okay? It's the last thing I want to see. That's the last thing we want to have happen. Just be safe. MoDOT cameras around the area still again showing around I-44 where we still have some of that slush out there. Same into Kansas. We still are dealing with slushy roads and covered roads in a number of situations where, again, covered roadways across the bulk of Kansas. Some improvements now around Independence. We've got partially covered around Garnett. And one more quick look on the MoDOT side of things. Still all reported as covered. I-44, I-49, and every major highway in between. Well, now look at your forecast news you need to know right after this.
And here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Well, the Carthage Humane Society informed the city of Carthage that it is terminating its contract with the city. All this cuts off city funding to the shelter and means the city can't surrender animals without paying a $200 fee per animal. The mayor of Carthage says the termination was unexpected and that there have been recent discussions about increasing funding. And the Joplin Schools Board of Education announces its approval for the first phase of upcoming projects. Phase 1 funding is to focus on these projects would total $9.5 million to be funded by capital outlay reserves. The committee plans to present their final longer-term recommendations to the board in June 2025. The city of Joplin held a meeting to answer questions from residents about the relaunch of the Sunshine Lamp Trolley. Now, the service was halted in 2022 due to a lack of bus drivers. The city has now hired new drivers, and they expect the trolley to be up and running by the first week of February.
All right, still looking at dangerous road conditions across the area. Road crews working as fast as they can. If you don't have to be out, don't. If you do, please slow down. Give yourself plenty of time to get where you're going. The snow will eventually come to an end, maybe a stray flurry or two. Gusty north winds, highs today, low to mid 30s, upper 30s, low 40s tomorrow. Gusty south winds. And then maybe some flurries Sunday, a little warmer as we head into next week. In fact, into the 50s by the end of next week, with another system coming in with some additional showers and maybe some wintry precipitation.
All righty. Well, Krispy Kreme partners with a beloved breakfast brand to create a new donut collection. The chain is teaming up with Pop-Tarts to create the Crazy Good Donuts collection.
Now, for a limited time, Krispy Kreme will be offering 3 new flavors: Pop-Tarts Frosted Strawberry, Frosted Chocolatey Fudge, and Frosted Brown Sugar Cinnamon Donuts. Fans can get their hands on the collection in shops. Certainly, you know, if you need a reason to have more donuts, now you can combine 2 great breakfast items into one thing there.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you all so much for letting us put the good in your morning. Please be safe out there today, and we'll be back with more news and weather at noon.
Have a great rest of your morning.